In today's 15-minute class, we're going to focus on chest. I'm going to start with showing you some setups and props that you'll need. If you don't have any of these props, or you can modify them, try this class. It's got some great concepts for strength. Now, when we're doing strength, we want to find stability instead of staying with the traditional Pilates exercises and just adding spring tension. When you have these props, come back to this class and do it as setup. I've got the jump board. This is the larger jump board. This is going to be set on the shoulder rest, and the ab mat will be set on top. We'll put a grippy on that. We'll do that as we go. So this is going to be for the incline board work. We're also going to use the long box with the head box from Balanced Body. And this is actually where we'll start, so I'll get this set up. I've got the headrest up. I've got the box on. You'll notice it's a couple finger distance over. Let me get this out of the way. A couple finger distance over the spring side edge, so or a few inches away from the shoulder rests. And that's just going to make sure we don't knock the head box off. Now, if you don't have the head box and your torso is short enough to do head on, you just need enough support for the skull, so you may not need to set up. But for longer students, you're definitely going to want to get this. Let's see. I've got my swivel pulleys down, which makes the warm-up, which is a pullover, a little bit more accessible. I've got a set of handles we'll be using for quite a bit of the workout, especially the kneeling on the floor series. And let's just start with clipping the dowel on. And I'm going to start with only a yellow spring, one yellow spring. I don't want to go heavier. So now that I've gone over the basic setup, what I want from you is to do your best with what you have. And if you need to modify, please leave it in the comment section. How can I do something if I don't have the propping? And I'll tell you the best you can do. If you do not have the swivel pulleys, the risers that are collapsible or can drop down, you will need to be modify and maybe just change how much you roll the roll down bar, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to set this class to a timer, so I'm going to walk to the timer and get it started. It's going to give us 30-second intervals, and there's a little whistle in the background. So first thing I want to do is grab the dowel, pull the carriage out, and have a seat. Make sure I'm adjusted. I'm going to hold it overhead, pivot around, and lie on my back. So when I have this set up, I still have a little bit of room for my sacrum, so I can slide one way or the other. We're going to start by just taking the dowel and start twisting it. And I want the eye hooks, the carabiners, whatever they're called, to kind of go on the inside. And then I want to make sure it's fairly even. So I'm going to bring this around so it's even on both sides. And what we want to do is get it so where it's really pulling our arms over and then back up. So I've got it 2, 4, 6 times wrapped. So I'm going to start up right about my pecs and then pull over to stretch. And let's just do that for a minute. If it's uncomfortable at all, just start with the full range of motion. If you have tight lats and pecs, you'll just go where it's comfortable. If you don't have the dowel, you can always hold the ropes, choke them up. That's another option until you get the roll down bar. Do another 30 seconds, warm it up. Now, if you start getting the range of motion where you can lower your arms to where the biceps touch the ab mat, that's where we want to get. All right, so we're going to slowly Let go of that, rolling, bring it up, pivot around, and have a seat. Come on up. What I'm going to do is go to a blue now. So if you were fine on the yellow, just stay on the yellow. I'm going to go ahead and pull it, have a seat, bring it in, pull around, and then lie down. Takes a few times to get used to that. So let's go ahead and roll it back. Little forearm work there. A couple more. There we go. Okay, 2, 4, 6. All right. So this is going to require some grip strength if you're doing heavy with me. Legs in tabletop. And let's go for a minute. When I'm pressing up, my cue is never press up with the hands. Always press from the triceps. Really connecting the lats and pecs as the arms come up. Let's do another 30 seconds. Starting to feel some work on this blue spring. Now, if you find this spring that you're working on is adequate, you do not need to come up. I'm going to come up and I'm going to increase my spring tension. You can just simply lower your feet to the frame and rest. If you're going to come up with me and switch your spring tension, go ahead. And I'm going to go from a blue to a red, starting to build up some strength. Now, with the athletic classes, the goal is to try, when you're ready, to work yourself up to a strength. When you start getting up to a strength, you want to take your rest periods and increase it. That's why I'm chatting, so I can get a whole minute rest. So the minute rest is going to allow me time to get up, change my springs, grab water if I want, and then time so I'm not rushed getting back down. So let's go ahead and lie back down. Getting ourselves set. Start rolling. Oops, I went to timer. And let's go. Now I'm feeling some strength. Thirty seconds more. And rest. All right, so give that minute just to rest, or come on up and let's add. I'm going to do a red and a blue. Now, when I start doing a little bit heavier, you'll notice that I'm going to decrease my rep range. So instead of trying to get 10, 12 reps in, I'm going to maybe go down to about 8. All right. 30 more seconds to get yourself ready. All right. Wish me luck. 10 more seconds. And let's do it. Last 30. Oh, that's it for me. Wow. What a forearm burn. Trying to trying to hold on to that dowel when I was starting to get sweaty. You can always grab grippy pads too, but I need that forearm strength there. So that was really good. So that's it for that. Um, let's get moving on to some kneeling stuff. So let's take this stuff off. Now, as I mentioned before, if your torso length is short enough for this box, you can do that in that position. I can do it, but it's not as comfortable. So if you can sit on it where your sacrum and your skull are supported, you can do that setup. All right, we're going to keep the swivel pulleys down, and let's go ahead and switch to handles. That was a good little shoulder warm-up and pecs. All right, so I am going to I'm going to get us pretty close to the ground. Now I'm on the higher reformer, so you may need to adjust it according. If your swivel pulleys don't collapse, you may want to do this kneeling lunge series on a box. First thing I'm going to do really quick is just wrap that once around the shoulder rest to shorten my ropes. I'm going to come to a kneeling position. Now we're doing some strength. Not on that, sorry. Let's start on a blue. And I want to stabilize. So front knee and opposite arm. And I'm going to get to a point where I'm angled correctly with that swivel pulley. And I'm going to do underhand presses. Let's do a minute of that. So some of you know this on the reformer as serving. It's an underhand press. 30 seconds more. Now, when we go to switch sides, we're going to want to move our body out because we want the swivel pulley aligned with the shoulder. So we'll work our body out to the side when we switch hands. Really feeling that pec. Let's switch. Hand it off to your right behind you. Bring yourself out. And let's just go right into right side. Thirty seconds more. All right, let's go ahead and switch to a heavier resistance if you want. Make sure you pad your knees with a pad or a mat if it's uncomfortable at all. Let's get ready. Actually, starting here. There we go. All right, let's go. Underhand. All right, let's switch sides. All right, let's go up if you can. I'm going to add a yellow, so I'll do a red and a yellow. And I'm going to start decreasing my rep range. Instead of 15 to 18 in that 30-second interval, we're going to now try to maybe do 8 reps. Start with left. All right, let's go. Looks like I'm going to get about 12, maybe 15, so that means I can go up. Yep. All right, switch and right into it. All right. Add if you can. I'm going to do a red and a blue. Now, if you're working on a reformer that's really lightweight, like the plastic resin ones, I think they're the Allegra too, be very mindful. You may need to prop something against the, let me show you, we'll give yourself a minute. Prop something against the foot of the bed. So I'm going to grab this. It's a moon box. And I'm going to use the foot to prop that. If that puts me too far away like this did for this specific exercise, I can shorten it until I find, and that's still a bit forward. So for me, I can probably just put the foot up against it. All right, let's now not worry about the timer. It's just gonna be in the background. Let's just do 8 reps. And we'll do 3 sets, 8 reps heavy. Wow, that was good. So notice I'm pivoting my body now more out so that swivel pulley is aligned with it, and I still am able to put my foot. And let's just go for 8. All right. Let's do a couple more sets, and this one, I feel like I can go to 2 red today. And my knee's starting to want a pad. So I'm going to put this under my kneeling leg, the ab mat. So I'm starting with this one. Nope. Yes. I remember where I started. All right. So when you're ready, if you're ready, let's go and do 8. Pretty darn heavy. 2. Wow. That was really heavy. The most important thing when doing heavy is you'll notice that's where I'm stopping. If I go any farther than that, I'm in my shoulder and neck. So when you're doing underhand, that's as far as you need to go. So I will always tell students, never press above the throat or collarbones. Always press down and forward and only extend the shoulder where I can keep it in the pec. All right, let's do 8. This side. 2, 3, 4, 5. That was killer. All right, let's do a whole minute rest, and then we'll do our last set. Now, if you're just watching this because you want to take notes to do an athletic class, or maybe you're wanting to work with a private male client and add some strength components to it, these are some really great ones to keep, whether you're going to do the whole class or just pick some elements. Just kind of watching how I do it will give you an idea of setups and what to expect with a male client. I had one of my female teachers come in to one of my workshops, and she had said, before I got to know you via social media, she said, I was just adding spring tension to all the Pilates exercises. And she realized my male clients couldn't hold good form. So what I want to say by that is, sorry, talking and trying to remember which arm I'm doing. Just make sure that you find whether you're using my exercises, the athletic ones, or you're coming up with your own, just stabilize it somehow. I'm getting myself off the carriage. I'm using this like I would in a gym, like a cable machine. All right, and if you don't have my athletic workbook, please make sure you check it out. All right, I'm trying to waste time to get a little bit more of a rest because this is heavy. All right, let's do it. 8, 7, 'Yowza. I think I've moved the bed a little bit. Give myself just a little bit more recovery. All right. If you're ready, I'm ready. And let's go for 8. Wow. Glad that's over. Feel that tomorrow. All right. Let's use the next couple minutes to set up. Notice I've got the foot bar down. It doesn't need to be down, but I just like it away. And I think we'll do once a round on both. So it's really short. Put the jump board on just so the ab mat doesn't move, I'm going to take a couple grips. And generally when I'm going to do this, I've done it so many times with my students, I'll just say, let's do incline board setup. I call that the incline board setup. And you'll notice from my book, it's called the incline board fly. So everybody's neck length is going to be different. That's going to be about right for me. The most challenging thing for students is to, I'm going to start with a red and a blue. And I keep making a funny eye, if you're catching that, because like a sinus thing going on today. All right, so I'm going to bring myself forward. Actually, I want to start on a red. Chest is a little burned out from that, and then I'll work my way back up. So in an athletic class, you have options to stay in the medium range or do what we're doing in this class. We'll start and we'll ladder it up on strength, which is kind of what I always did when I was in the gym. So go ahead and watch the setup or the mounting procedure. I don't want to knock the ab mat off. So I need to really be aware where this is. And the first few times you probably will knock the mat off, but you'll figure it out. Also too, I don't want to knock the jump board. So first thing I'm going to do is put my body weight on it and then have a seat. Notice I've got this rope to the side. Once I'm on it, I'm just going to slither down and then adjust that ab mat according. All right, now my leg length, I can get my feet on. I just want to make sure my back is stable. If you want to work lower extremities, you can always do tabletop. I do it quite a bit today. I want to really stabilize. So here is just your standard flies, and I'm doing full range. It's pretty light, so using that just to kind of mobilize and get those pecs to stretch. This is going to be very similar, oddly enough, the way we're set up. It's going to feel like a decline fly, if you know what I'm talking about, a decline bench. Getting a really great stretch. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my heel on, drop these, come up, and then I'm going to put that other blue, so going to a red and a blue, and then same mounting procedure. The heavier it gets, the more challenging the mounting is going to be without knocking things off. So you're going to notice that I'm using my body to bring the carriage to me. Foot goes on, butt goes on, and then slide down. Get myself set. Heels are on, back is on, arms are at the ready for the flies, and let's do 12 reps. Good, that's 6 in that 30 seconds, so another 6. And the great thing with being able to drop the swivel pulleys down is I get a really great range of motion out of this. The last rep. All right, foot on, drop. All right, so I'm going to do 2 red and 1 blue. I'm going to give myself a good minute and a half recovery. So I'll chill for a minute, and then we'll go back on. When you're doing strength and you're really loading it up, here's what I'll tell my students in my class. If you're not loading it up, and I give my students this option. So I'll say, hey guys, for those of you that are loading it up with me, please make sure you give yourself a minute and a half of rest because you're doing heavier resistance. For the students that are not going really heavy, I will tell them double your rep range So you're going to still be working when the rest of the students start a class. And, they get to know. Some students come in and they're like, I really don't feel like killing it today. So they know the rules. If I'm killing it and I'm cueing the class to go heavy, they know their personal spring tension. They know what they need to do as far as rep range, and they're just going to do that. So make sure because you can come back to this class and just do it light and just follow that instead of loading it up. Just keep it medium light if you want to do reps or higher reps. All right. Fingers crossed I have the strength to do this after the one we just did on the floor. All right. Using my body to bring the carriage to me. I'm going to step up, hop on, and then mount. Ooh. I can feel that 3 springs already. All right, so I'm all set. And let's go. 10 reps. Don't worry about the timer. It's still just going on in the background. We're going to focus only on 10 reps. 2. Now, when I'm done with my 10, if you're going to 20, just keep going and don't listen to me. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. If you're continuing on, do another 10. If not, let's drop them. And I must have had my Wheaties because I'm going to go up to 3 red and a blue. Give myself a nice minute to recover. Give myself about 30 seconds left to get mounted. And then what we'll do is, let's see if we can do 2 sets here we've got another, probably, I don't have my glasses on. I'm trying to read the timer, but I think we've got 10 minutes left. All right, let's go. Is it 10 or 20? I can't tell. I'll check after this. All right, getting on. Make sure you're safe getting on. Now, if you're doing heavy with me, you're doing 3 red and a blue. Be very, very careful. Don't want it pulling your shoulders. All right, let's do 10 reps. 1. 2. Aiming roughly for the knees. 3. 4. 5. 3 more. Last one. Now I'm going to stay there. So I'm just going to rest with my foot down and hands behind the head, just really comfortable. Give ourselves a minute rest. Now, let's say you got a little crazy with the resistance and you felt that was a bit much. Take it down. Lower the resistance down and then get back on. When you're doing athletic, I want you to push yourself. I want you to add tension on with two things in mind. One, the most important thing is that your form and your Pilates principles still apply as best you can when you're doing strength. And then also, number two, that you never do too much that you're straining anything. I want you to make sure that you're not being outrageous with your spring tension if you're going to hurt yourself. So, safety, principles, important. All right. I think I've chatted enough, even though I'd like to chat some more, give myself more rest. I'm going to give myself 2 more seconds because I think I need it. All right. 8. Now let's finish with 10. We can do it. All right. 2, 3, 4, halfway there. 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Last one. Foot on that frame. Let go. Close. And wipe the tears from your eyes. Ooh, that was good. All right, let me get closer and just see how many more minutes we have. Oh, good, we do have 20. Right? Oh, no, only 10. Almost 40. 40, yeah. All right, so let's take the incline board off. And let's take foot bar up. And I just want to do a nice little stretch. Widen your legs, get your hips at the edge, and just press out, feeling that stretch your shoulders. I'm going to walk my feet back so I'm really weighted against it. Get the lats to stretch. We're going to finish after this nice little stretch with a standing fly, low to high, and then we'll be done today. Flexing at the hips and lumbar spine, getting a stretch. Feeling that nice, easy range of motion in the shoulders. Always think about armpits plunging to the floor. I want to prevent any elevation and retraction. I really want to get those lats to flare and fan out to get that stretch for both the pecs and lats as opposed to just retracting and dropping your head. So really think armpits are leading with the movement, not the breastbone. All right, that's good for a stretch. And that's coming up. I'm going to keep those wrapped around. Let's go to one yellow only. We're going to keep the handle on, that's fine. So I think we used everything today that I intended to use. So I am going to get myself into a lunge position. You can do kneeling lunge. It's up to you. And I'm actually going to get just wide enough to where I'm getting a pec and bicep stretch. And then I'm going to probably fly right to here. If you feel that a yellow is too heavy for you, drop it down to the floor or always use a handy band, a hooked on Pilates handy band. If you don't know what that is, go to hookedonpilates.com, get a set of both heavy and medium handy bands so you can do all the athletic work with me until you have the strength to do a yellow. 2 more. 1 more. So we're going to switch, pivot our body, get ourselves into that nice pec stretch. which is going to be right about there for this side, and low to high. Oops, back to, there we go, right about there. Switch legs. I'm going to get myself a little bit more. There we go. So I get that nice stretch. Switch again. Adjust yourself according. You're getting that nice stretch. Switch again. And just keep, you'll see me shuffle my feet just so I get that right position. You can do both arms if you want to kind of simulate that chest fly. Let's do one more each side. Sometimes I'll have my students do that so they can feel whether they're in that right space, where it feels even. That does right there. Switch. Last set. All right, excellent. So that's done with, I think that's plenty for the strength portion. Let's just go ahead and chill out. And let's do some supine arm work. So let's take the swivel pulleys up. Post your straps. And I'm going to do, let's do, for strength, 3 reds, if you're doing strength with me. You know what, let's do 3 red and a blue, since this is a fairly heavy class. If you want to do medium strength, do 3 reds or 2 red and a blue. If you need to pause the video to kind of find out what's going to work for you, go ahead. So when we do heavy strength, be very careful that you're not using momentum. We don't want you shoving your body into the shoulder rest. If you need to spot with 1 foot, if you're going to do heavy, you can always do that. So let's do 10 palms face down and then 10 palms face up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 more. And then palms face back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. And rest for 30. And then we'll do some circles each direction for 30. Roughly 30 or 10 seconds. All right, legs and tabletop. Start with out to the side first. Press the hips and return up. 30 seconds each direction. Reverse. And rest. Drop your straps, feet wide on the bar, and let's just finish with some stretches. Rock knees to one side and back up. Arms are out straight to get that pec stretch. Rock knees to the other side. Look away from the stretch. And back. Rock knees to the other side. Should feel a stretch from your fingers all the way. So if you want, you can really stretch your wrist backwards and then up to relax. Turn your head, stretch your wrists open as you rock and relax. Stretch your wrists, rock. Always look the opposite way. Stretch your wrist and rock. And one more each way. Stretch your wrists, rock knees, and back. And last one. And rest. Let's come on up. Let's open the carriage, no springs. I'm going to get some nice pec stretches, a little rotation in the shoulder. Hands on the foot bar. Drop it. Get a nice little stretch. And then up. Lifting off the heels. Lower the heels. Sit back in the hips. Get a nice stretch. One more. Lift it up. And back. Taking the right hand down to the left ankle, twist, feel that stretch your shoulder, your back and spine and legs, and up, and switch. And up, and one more each leg and arm, and up. Last one, rotate. Feel that open your stretch, and up. Go ahead and have a seat on the frame and just stretch up and back. So I'm balancing on my sit bone. Up, really keeping them anchored. Do one more. And then we're going to add a little rotation. So hand on the foot bar, arm is up, and rotate. Really keeping those sit bones anchored. Hand back. And then up. I love the sit bones on that because it really stretches. Because I'm anchoring and I have really good feedback. So let's do the other way. Stretch. Go down a little bit more. And one more each way. And let's add a stretch And down. And stretch. Wow, that's tight. One more. Hold on to that bar. And stretch. Good. Let's go ahead and hands on the carriage, heels back to a nice deep stretch. Have that stretch your shoulders. Shift your hips side to side. Get a little stretch down all the way at the calves. And then come up. Let's take ourselves outside, still keeping the spring tension off. You're going to go ahead and take the arm behind you. Try to kneel fairly close to the back and twist away and then back. So when you twist away, I want you to feel that pec stretch. You can open the arm and back and twist. 4 more. And 3. Just prevent the shoulder from elevating. Feel the body rotating is what moves the carriage. Last one. And switch arms. Go to the other side. And rotate. Now it's really tight. Couple more. And last one. Now your hand position is up to you. You can do hand position in, hand position on, or hand position inside. So I meant outside, on top, or inside. It's up to you. So that concludes today's class. I hope you enjoyed learning a couple of the different propping methods and getting a sense of how strong you can push your students that want to work strength, whether it's a male or female. I use men a lot as an example because obviously I am a man and I took my practice from the reformer and I added all these strength components. So if you have any questions, if you have a male client or male student and you're attracting more students into your classes because you're doing strength training, please ask me questions. I want to make sure that if you are not a male student and you're a female student and you want to know maybe one of your students had an issue with propping, needed some different setups, please ask me. I want to share everything that I've gone through. Over time, I hope to address most everything as the website continues to grow and your comments continue to help lead me in the direction that you guys want. I should make sure that I address everything, whether it's in the comment section or send me an email, and I'll make sure I get you addressed. Thanks so much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing.